That was a really great conversation with Elizabeth Stribling, who has accomplished so much. She started this firm in 1980, and it has really grown tremendously, and it's a very impressive accomplishment. And if you want to learn more about Stribling, I suggest you go to the website, www.stribling.com. You can also email with any questions Tony Simone, who is our producer and also a licensed agent. Simone, TSIMONE at stribling.com. Tony also has this amazing, fascinating blog, which tells you all about real estate and New York City and all kinds of good goings on, and that's at TonySimone.com. You can also follow him on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, RobMTaub.com. Remember, if you're just selling, buying, thinking about it, you want to be connected to a top real estate professional, contact Tony, and he will take care of everything. So we have a fascinating guest with us. All our guests are interesting, fascinating, and wonderful. And today we have Helen Toomer from Pulse Contemporary Art Fair. Welcome, Helen.
Thank you so much.
So what can you tell me about Pulse? I'm very unsophisticated when it comes to the world of art. And we had an art expert on here recently from Art Brut, David Darcy. I don't know if you know of his work. And he filled me in on a lot of stuff and told me that what I thought was very intelligent art buying on my part was that valueless junk. But I'm going to prove him wrong in 30 or 40 years. So tell me about what you're doing.
So I'm the director of Pulse Contemporary Art Fair, and we have 2 editions in Miami and New York, and the New York edition opens next week on March 3rd, running through Sunday, March 6th at the Metropolitan Pavilion.
And even though this is a show about real estate and I'm supposed to know these things, what is the Metropolitan Pavilion?
So the Metropolitan Pavilion is a great venue on West 18th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. So we basically take the space and sort of reinvigorate it with 45 galleries from all over the world. And so there'll be over 100 different artists and artworks displayed at the fair. So you should definitely come and check it out.
Well, will I know any of the artists?
I don't know. I don't know how much you know.
I know little. Tell me about some of these people.
So we have some great galleries on board. So we have, for example, we have a long-standing New York exhibitor called Davidson Contemporary, and they will be bringing some works by British artist Sam Messenger, who has a solo show that's opening up at the gallery this week, which is really, really wonderful. The kind of artists and galleries that we show are sort of emerging and mid-career, so it's really a place for discovery. So we like to welcome everybody in, whether you have art history knowledge or not.
What do I have to spend to get a painting these days?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I mean, our exhibitors sell paintings from anywhere from $3,000 all the way up to hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go somewhere in the middle. So that's good to know then that you have a wide gap there and there's a good spread.
Absolutely. I think it's important to have a variety of artworks because the beauty about art is that it's so subjective. So, you know, if you are particularly interested in photography or sculpture, or you have a fascination with the female figure, you know, you can come in and find something that suits you.
So what did you ever see the play Art Broadway show?
No, I didn't.
What it's about is 3 best friends, older gentlemen, and one of them buys, I forget for how much money, like $1 million, a canvas that's just all white. And so his 2 friends get together and say, we have to tell him that this is the dumbest thing in the world. And of course, one of them chickens out and says, I think this is great. But it's a great play and an interesting show because it is all about the subjectivity of art and what makes somebody want to buy something or paint something and do it. And it is unique. I have a friend who's a well-known artist, and I've always found it amazing to me that he struggled for years and years and years, and then one day he became an overnight sensation. So why is that? It's not like, George Clooney, it didn't have to wait 20 years or 25 years to become George Clooney. Usually people in other areas of the arts have a pretty quick ascension. But with
Mhm.
artists, it just seems like they can be ignored doing the same stuff, and then one day, bam, they're acknowledged.
Yeah, I mean, it totally depends. I mean, with artists, collectors, and galleries, would love to see sort of their journey and how their bodies of work have grown, and also to see that commitment that the artist has to their practice. And it also just depends on different themes, what's hot, what's not, and the connections with the gallerists and the curators and the press. But to get back to your point about art being so subjective, I mean, that's one of the things that we love to do at Pulse. And we like to bring the conversation in-house. So we like for visitors to talk to our gallerists and ask some questions. And we also have a series of panel discussions each day about different trends and themes in the art market and the art world. So we encourage that connectivity.
Well, now, where can somebody go for a website so they can learn more about this?
It's pulse-art.com.
Okay, and I'm interested in in what happens at these panel discussions. Are they all artists? Are they gallery owners, artists, a combination?
It's all a mix. We are partnering with hyperallergic.com. They are doing a talk on art and revolution, and we're also partnering with the Times Square Arts Alliance and the Cuban Art Fund, and they're going to be talking about artworks and artists in Cuba, which is a really kind of hot, exciting topic right now.
So, how do you walk into the art fair? Is there a fee, and can you spend all day there? How is it laid out? Explain a little more to me.
So you have to pay an admission to get in, but we'd like to extend half price tickets to all the listeners here. And yes, you can spend a whole morning and afternoon. We have a great cafe lounge area. So you can look at the artworks, interact with the galleries, have a coffee, have a drink, and engage in some of the programming. So
what time does it open up in the morning, and how long does the whole day go?
So we open to the public on Thursday at 1:00, and we have young collectors cocktails that evening, 6 till 8. And then Friday and Saturday, it's 11 till 8 p.m. And then Sunday, it's 11 till 5 p.m.
So there's a lot of mingling, schmingling, and bingling.
Yes.
Walter Yetnikoff
Well,
used to say.
we like that. And then for those who'd like more information, we're also running daily tours. So I'm actually hosting one on Thursday, and then we have some other knowledgeable people hosting them for the rest of the time too.
Do we get to meet any of the artists as well?
Yes, yeah, we love that. There are a lot of artists readily available to speak.
And what is the admission fee?
The admission fee is $25.
And is that with the half price, or?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is a deal. I suggest everybody go to the website immediately, pulse-art. Is that correct?
Yes.
.com.
Yeah.
And so would I recognize any of the artists? Do you have a favorite? Are you allowed to say that, or that would be politically correct?
Technically not allowed to say that. There's lots of great artists there, and some that I haven't seen in the flesh. That's the exciting thing about my job, is that I get to see some brand new artworks from some artists at the fair.
Who's a hot up and coming artist today? Where do we read about this anymore?
Well, I mean, there's great websites like hyperallergic.com, ArtNet News, Art News. One of the artists that's been getting a lot of attention recently, and actually Leonardo DiCaprio bought one of his works from Pulse, New York last year via Instagram. And his name is Jean-Pierre Roy, and he shows with a gallery from Copenhagen called Gallery Pulsen. So he would be a very interesting artist to watch.
Has the internet changed the art world dramatically?
Yes, I think so. I think it's changed everything. I think that it's, the arts it's a visual industry. And so I think that being able to have more access to more artworks instantly is sort of shaping the way that we view artworks and how we buy them. We find a lot more collectors would do more research. We partner with Artsy, which is a fabulous online resource. And so we find that they do a preview before we open, and a lot of collectors like to look on there and do some more research about the artists and the galleries, and then they come to the fair and hopefully acquire the works.
I'd have to ask you about the artist, see if you've heard of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like his work.
Okay.
Della Vega, have you heard of him?
Yes, I've heard of
So I got one of his originals. My mom has a plant. And he drew this plant with his mother's head inside it.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of of my college days, I think, and it was like a good drug trip or something. It was a very different kind of painting. So I got it for a very little amount of money, and I asked David Darcy on here about Della Vega, and he snickered at me. But again, it's subjective. I like it. It's kind of
if it brings you joy, then
it sits over my computer and it gives me some inspiration.
Yeah,
and,
I
it's
think
only $300.
See, as long as you're happy.
So, how is contemporary art defined right now? What makes something get that title?
So the contemporary artworks being produced today, and also has been produced, I guess, sort of over the last 50 years or so. So we tend to categorize contemporary art with what we're seeing today in a lot of the galleries, and it's exciting. It's exciting what's being produced today.
Have you ever seen the movie Pollock that Ed Harris did?
No, I haven't, but I just recently went to Pollock's studio.
I did too.
Oh, glorious. Just magnificent.
There was actually, you have to wear hazmat boots
Yes.
because you get to walk on the floor where all the splatters are.
Yeah, I love that.
And I was surprised there wasn't security there because some guy was actually trying to scrape some of the paint
my
off the
goodness.
floor, and they got him and tossed him out. But
Yeah.
I understand that because of that, they're going to put a piece of plexiglass over the floor now, so that
wow.
because it's pretty remarkable. Well, if you see the movie, they shot some of the film right there,
Yeah.
and it still looks remarkably the same.
Well,
It's
it's
really
history, isn't it? He's such an
it's-
iconic artist.
yes, it's a fascinating story,
Mhm.
and he had a period of growth where he was really trying to do impressionistic work, and then just one day came up with the splatter idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, amazing.
I've made some big messes in my kitchen. I've unfortunately been unable to sell them, spilling things and dropping stuff. And I think sometimes it's beautiful. So is there like a opportunity for colossal artists anymore to emerge, like a Pollock?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the great things about the art fairs is it sort of gives you an overview, and when you're able to follow an artist or acquire an artist's work, you can see how they can how their journey can.
Well, go to this to Pulse, and maybe we'll find the next Jackson Pollock. And I think it sounds like a great deal. Thanks for joining us, Helen.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Stribling's New York. I'm your host, Rob Taub, here on 710 WOR Radio.